Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Cup Check, and we're here with Trenton Moore. Trent, how are you doing tonight?
It's good to be back. It's been a while since I've been on the
It
podcast.
really has. The fans they've been debating who do they miss more, Trent or Zach. Both have been MIA. But we got Trent here in the stew tonight. And Trent, what kind of video idea did you bring for us tonight?
Tonight we wanted to cover one good player, one bad player, one wrong opinion of ours, and one right opinion of ours as far as in the hitter category. So this is all fantasy related, not in real life, just fantasy purposes. So
Yeah, and
uh,
I thought this would be a pretty fun one because not only do I get to brag about how right I was, but I get to reflect on how wrong I was as well. So kicking it off, I'll start us with the good. All right, for the good, I have Austin Riley. Austin was really people weren't really like crazy too high on him. They weren't singing his praises, but I mean, the youngin has shown that last year was not a fluke. He's hitting 270 with 21 homers right now. Not to mention the baseball savants looking very sexy as well with 97% average exit velocity, 96 max exit velocity, and 99 hard hit percentage. So Trent, what do you think about Austin Riley? Yeah, what do you think of
he's,
Austin?
I'm looking at it right now. He's been pretty legit, and I'm scrolling down and I see Team Dawson either traded Austin Riley.
Hey, we'll get into that in a little
Yeah,
bit. So,
okay.
but
No,
yeah,
Austin Riley, I agree. He's been underrated for much of his major league career. Actually, he's been really good for the last few years. And at the end of the day, stats matter. Not so much your name. So
yeah, and Riley didn't really start out like too hot to this year. So, I mean, definitely last month he's really been picking it up. Obviously, 21 homers puts him right at the top of the league in the home run race right now, pretty much. So, really good start from Riley. Trent, who do you have as your good player to highlight?
I want to highlight Jeremy Pena. Stepping into the spotlight after Carlos Correa's inevitable departure. I think that takes a lot of guts and really a lot of skill to do. And, he filled right in. He's been better than Correa by far this year. Not fantasy related. He's been a really good defender as well. But he stepped in with 12 home runs and 6 stolen bases, carrying a 275, 280 batting average, which that's very respectable all
Yeah,
across the board. So
definitely. I mean, not to toot the cup check horn too much, but I mean, if you look back on it, we were right about a pretty good amount of things this year. And Jeremy Pena was definitely someone that we told you to grab at the end of your draft. And if you did, congratulations, because that's definitely one of those late round picks that can help you win the league. Because I mean, he's really looked phenomenal. I mean, I remember on opening day watching him against Shohei just get absolutely humiliated, and I was like, oh shoot, we just told the world to get Jeremy Pena and he sucks. But then the next day he was like 3 for 4 with a homer and he hasn't looked back since. So all those Jeremy Pena investors out there, I'm glad it's paying off for you.
so moving on to the bad. What was your bad?
So my bad, not my bad take, but just someone, well, bad
Yes.
take too, honestly, but someone to highlight, Jared Kelenic. I mean, it's just really tragic, kind of what's happened, and Julio just makes it look so much worse because I mean he's just making it look so easy right now, whereas Kellenic, I mean he can do just about anything he wants in AAA. Then he gets to the league and it just hasn't come together yet. Trent, is this a guy that you're giving up on in Dynasty? Especially leagues with like limited keeper slots. What are you doing if you have Kellenic right now?
Limited keeper slots is a different story. Full dynasty, I'm not giving up on him, and if anything, I'm buying. Um, obviously, definitely, most obviously at the right price. You got to you just in negotiations, you look at every ranking online. Six pack, Fantrax, whatever, and you just send it over and say, "Listen, I'll give you this and this around Kellenic's ranking." And so, hopefully, they buy it. Because again, at the end of the day, we said this about Jason Tatum for years. He's only 22. So
True. Yeah.
Kellenic's very young. Just don't give up on the man yet. He's a hard worker. So I look forward to seeing him come back with the grit.
Yeah. What's kind of tough though is, I mean, you take a quick look at the MILB.com stat line, you see 288, 8 homers, 2 bags, and you're thinking, all right, Kellenick's thriving. Like, he's not killing it, but he's doing pretty good. You take a little bit of a deeper dive into it, you see the man has really been struggling, maybe just a little depressed about how things have kind of played out so far. But Jared, if you're out there, don't give up. But I mean, just real quick, looking at the last 30 games, hitting 140, striking out 36 times in 86 plate appearances. And then looking at the last 15 games, striking out 14 times and 34 appearances. So the strikeout number is really not what you want to see. And looking at the last 7 games, 6 strikeouts and 18 at bats. So Kellenick, maybe swinging hard, trying to prove something instead of just letting the game come to him. But yeah,
he might be pressing a little bit, but I do want to add in there with a pretty big asterisk. I think he's been suffering through an injury. I know he spent some time on the IL in the minor leagues. That wasn't too long ago. It was end of June. But at the end of the day, you got to produce.
yeah.
But moving on to my bad one, I wanted to highlight was one I was also incorrect on from the beginning of the year. Max Muncy of the Dodgers, and he has been awful, to say the least. The thing is with him, I drafted him decently high. I was like, he's first, second, and third eligible, and his StatCast from 2020 and 2021 were phenomenal, really, to just keep producing results. He'll give you 250 average and 30 home runs with a high OBP. But I know he struggled through some elbow issues that came into the year, and I think that kind of caught up to him in some way. And, I know that this year there's a viral video where he took a pitch down the middle and he argued it. So that's all in all is a bad take. But anyways, moving on to the wrong opinion for each of us.
Yeah. So my biggest wrong opinion that I'll probably be suffering from this one for a few years. And to be honest, it didn't even start off as really a bad move. Earlier on in the season, I decided to make a trade in our 7-keeper dynasty league. I traded Austin Riley, who we talked about previously, and someone who's looking like God's gift to baseball, Yordan Alvarez. And to make matters worse, also traded O'Neal Cruz in that. So those 3 I traded away for Freddie Freeman, Manny Machado, and Aaron Nola. And just kind of put you in my headspace at the time. Like, I'm not a guy who likes losing. So I kind of decided I was going to go all out to try and win this year. Little did I know I should just let my team play because Yordan and Riley just doing phenomenal. Meanwhile, Machado's had some injury problems and Freeman's done good. He just hasn't had that month that just sets him apart yet. And Aaron Nola doing pretty solid as well. But I mean, who could have seen the youngins are really that good, especially in a dynasty league. This one's going to hurt because my team definitely got a lot older, for sure. And just kind of my mindset was Yordan's injury prone. I'll get rid of him. And Austin Riley's unproven, and I'll take the proven players. But should have just trusted the youngins. Trent, what do you think of that trade?
It's not bad. As you can attest, I've been trying to trade for Freeman for quite a while now, both when he was on the team he traded for him for, as well as on your own. But, again, like you said, he got older and certainly got a little worse on the statistical side, long-term speaking. But is what it is. Everybody has a bad egg. By the most part, I'd say you do pretty well in your trades given your negotiating tactics. But anyways, moving on. My wrong opinion was one that a lot of people actually saw coming, which I just guess I held out hope. Joey Gallo. I expected him to break out on the Yankees for 2022. I know he always found his way on base and couldn't ever really touch the ball except hit it out of the park. But, I thought the short porch out there in Yankee Stadium would just give him a kiss every now and then. Good Lord, it is not. I mean, he has been awful. He's by far the worst average in the league. He doesn't even play every day. I mean, he still qualifies. It's amazing. So, it's tough.
Yeah, I think Gallo needs a trade. Like he just needs to get his mind right somewhere else, because I don't know if it's the New York traffic or what that's getting to him, but dude's just not in the right mental space, because we know he's good at the game. He's got a lot of tools that should help him be a pretty productive player. So I think just kind of relocating might be what's best for him.
Well, to cap on a positive note, though, let's go ahead and finish this off with our one right opinion that we were correct on starting from the beginning of the year.
Yeah, so I got some slack for this one when we were doing our breakout hitter videos, because co-host at the time, Crutchfield, did not think this was really a breakout. But if you've been following Gleyber Torres, you know the dude was down bad heading into this year. And, I saw some stuff about him changing his swing in spring training. And, I wasn't ready to give up on Gleyber, because I think he showed a lot of things to like. And so far in the 22 campaigns, hitting 260 with 13 homers. He's actually hitting 257, but went 2 for 4 tonight. So officially north of 260, and 13 bombs is pretty good, especially for
He
someone who's second base and shortstop eligible.
he really turned it around. I gave up on him. I drafted him because I was under the same notion as you, believing that he, changed his swing, was determined to make an impact, and he came out of the gate cold as Antarctica. I mean, he was not hitting the ball, not touching it. So I shipped him off to a guy who loves him, and he
Yeah.
got lucky. So it is what it is. But yeah, that is a good call. I like that idea.
Yeah, and
Uh,
my first time looking at Glaber's Baseball Savant in probably 2 years, I'm seeing a lot of red, actually. So good job, Glaber. 90th percentile average exit velocity. Love to see it. Glaber's hitting the ball hard. And just a little mini note before I end on. I'm gonna throw another name out there. I actually want to talk about Alex Kirilloff for like 10 seconds, because I also put him in the breakout video. And since being pulled up, hitting 306 with 3 homers. Trent, do we believe Kirilloff is someone that should be on rosters right now?
10 team, yes, especially for 12 team, most definitely. 10 team, if you can fit them in, if you need, depth in the first base or outfield, if you've got a stacked pitching roster and you just don't have much hitting, that's not a bad guy to roster.
Funny.
But yeah, no, he's a good little hitter. I always compared him to a young Goldschmidt. Definitely not the way I don't think he'll ever touch Goldschmidt's stats from his
That's
prime
very
years.
high praise, especially with this year's
I just
Goldschmidt.
meant the way he approaches it, hitting at the plate. He's
Yeah.
a solid hitter. But yeah, but along with him and somebody who's taken after both Goldschmidt and Pujols, or at least Brian Pujols, my guy was Juan Yepez. You're quite aware I've been on him since the beginning of last year. Beginning of 2021 when he was in Memphis. I saw this young kid, and I had been following him since the Cardinals traded Matt Adams to the Braves for him. He was an 18-year-old young kid that didn't have much power. I think he had like a 45 hit tool and like maybe a 45 power tool. So talk about a guy who's rejuvenated and worked his ass off. Excuse my French, but I'm very impressed with him. I saw him come out the gate hot last year in AAA, and this offseason I was buy because I knew the DH was coming to the NL, and I was like, that's a perfect opportunity.
Yeah,
So
speaking of buy, I mean, me and Trent believed in this guy so much. We bought his Bowman First Gold autograph, BGS 9.5, probably the best Yepes autograph card I could find on the market. Me and Trent were like, screw it, we believe in this guy, we're gonna buy it, because I believe it was sometime like a year or two ago. I was just doing absolutely nothing. I see a text from Trent. It's this video of this absolute like behemoth in the batter's box, and dude just looks absolutely yoked. And I kid you not, when he hit the ball, it sounded like lightning just struck. And ever since that day, us as Cardinal fans were kind of looking forward to see what he would bring. And I'm not going to say I expected him to hit 290 with 11 homers to start his career, but I mean, he's really doing good, and it's good to see the Cardinals got some young talent playing well.
yeah. So well, thank you guys for tuning in to the episode of Cup Check that is going to kick off our Review of our takes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, make sure to check out the previous video if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you want as well. Thank you all for watching. Signing off.